Hello everyone, welcome to the US Immigration News. Let's be honest. Navigating family-based immigration in the United States has never been easy, and 2025 is proving to be no exception. With each new Visa Bulletin release, families around the world anxiously check for any sign of progress, hoping for movement that could bring them one step closer to reuniting with loved ones. The June 2025 Visa Bulletin is out, and for many, it's another reminder of just how complex and slow this process can be. This month's bulletin highlights the persistent challenges, long waiting periods, especially for applicants from oversubscribed countries like India, Mexico, China, and the Philippines, and little to no advancement in most family-based categories. Yet we see some notable progress as well. But understanding the Visa Bulletin isn't just about reading the latest dates. It's about knowing how these updates directly impact your family's journey, who can move forward, who must keep waiting, and what the future might hold. In today's video, we'll break down what's actually changed in the June 2025 Visa Bulletin, how these updates affect family-based immigration, and what the future could look like for families hoping to reunite in the US. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video. Let's start with the basics. The Visa Bulletin is the official government publication that controls when green card applicants can move forward in their process. It does this by setting cutoff dates for each family-based and employment-based category and for each country of chargeability. Your place in line is determined by your priority date the day your petition was filed. When your priority date becomes current according to the bulletin, you can proceed with your green card application. For June 2025, the Department of State has set the worldwide limit for family-sponsored preference immigrants at 226,000. This number is divided among several preference categories, each with its own allocation. The per-country cap remains at 7% of the total, which translates to 25,620 visas per country per year. These limits are the root cause of the long backlogs and wait times that so many families experience, especially those from high-demand countries like India, Mexico, China, and the Philippines. Now, let's turn to the actual updates in the June 2025 Visa Bulletin. If you're following the family-based categories, here's what you need to know. For this month, all family-based green card categories remain unchanged with one exception. The F4 category, which is for siblings of US citizens, saw a 2-month advancement for India. For everyone else, including applicants from Mexico, the Philippines, and other high-demand countries, there is no forward movement in the cutoff dates. This means that, for most families, the wait continues and the timeline for reunification remains as long as ever. USCIS has announced that, for June 2025, all family-sponsored applicants must use the Dates for Filing chart. This chart allows some applicants to submit their adjustment of status or immigrant visa applications earlier, even if a green card cannot be approved until the final action date becomes current. While this may seem like a step forward, it's important to understand that filing early does not guarantee faster approval. The actual issuance of green cards still depends on the final action dates, which, as noted, have not advanced for most categories this month. So, what does this mean for families? In practical terms, the June 2025 Visa Bulletin offers little immediate relief for most family-based green card applicants. The only group seeing any movement is Indian siblings of US citizens, and even that advancement is modest. For everyone else, the backlog persists. Families from Mexico, the Philippines, and China in particular continue to face multi-year or even decade-long waits, with no sign of significant progress on the horizon. Let's take a closer look at why these backlogs exist and why the Visa Bulletin moves so slowly. The answer lies in the combination of annual visa caps and per-country limits. Each year, the number of people applying for family-sponsored green cards far exceeds the number of visas available, especially in certain categories and for certain countries. The government allocates visas in strict chronological order based on priority date, but when demand is high, the line moves at a glacial pace. If the number of applicants in a category or from a country exceeds the available visas, the State Department sets a cutoff date, the priority date of the first applicant who couldn't be reached within the numerical limits. If demand spikes, the government may even move the date backward, a process known as retrogression. For families, this means that the Visa Bulletin is both a guide and a gatekeeper. It tells you where you stand in line, but it also makes clear just how long the wait can be. The June 2025 Bulletin, with its lack of movement, is a stark reminder of the challenges facing family-based immigrants. For many, the dream of reunification remains just out of reach, delayed by a system that hasn't kept pace with demand. Now, let's talk about the future. Based on current trends, the outlook for family-based immigration remains challenging. The Department of State and USCIS have both indicated that there is a significant inventory of pending applications, and the number of available visas is not expected to increase. Unless Congress acts to raise visa caps or reform per-country limits, the backlogs will persist. In fact, there is a real risk of further retrogression if demand continues to outpace supply, or if more petitions are approved than there are visas available. Without legislative change, the system will remain slow and backlogged, and families will continue to wait. What does this mean for you if you're waiting for a family-based green card? First, it means that patience is essential. The process is slow and there are no shortcuts. Second, it means that staying informed is crucial. The Visa Bulletin is updated every month, and small changes can make a big difference if your priority date is close to becoming current. If you're eligible to file based on the dates for filing chart, do so as soon as possible to get your paperwork in the system. But remember, final approval will still depend on the final action dates. It's also important to understand the difference between the dates for filing and the final action dates. The dates for filing chart lets you submit your application early, but you won't get your green card until your priority date is current on the final action dates chart. This two-step process is designed to keep the system moving, but it can also be confusing and frustrating for applicants. If you're not sure where you stand, consult with an immigration attorney or accredited representative who can help you interpret the bulletin and plan your next steps. Looking ahead, there are a few things to watch for. First, keep an eye on legislative developments. There are ongoing discussions in Congress about immigration reform, including proposals to increase visa numbers and eliminate per-country caps. If any of these proposals become law, they could have a dramatic impact on wait times and the movement of the Visa Bulletin. Second, watch for changes in demand. If fewer people apply in certain categories or if more visas become available due to spillover from other categories, we could see faster movement in the bulletin. But for now, the trend is clear: slow progress and persistent backlogs. For families separated by the immigration process, this is a difficult reality. The Visa Bulletin is meant to bring order and predictability to the system, but for many it feels like a barrier. The June 2025 update, with its lack of movement, is a reminder of the need for patience and persistence, but it's also a call to action for those who want to see change. Advocacy and engagement with policymakers are essential if we want to see real reform in the family-based immigration system. To sum up, the June 2025 Visa Bulletin brings little change for most family-based green card applicants. The only notable advancement is for Indian siblings of U.S. citizens, and even that is modest. The vast majority of families will see no change in their wait times, and the outlook for significant progress remains uncertain. The root causes, annual visa caps and per-country limits continue to drive long backlogs, and without legislative reform, this is unlikely to change. If you're navigating this process, stay informed, stay prepared, and don't lose hope. The Visa Bulletin is just one part of the journey, and while it may move slowly, every step forward brings you closer to your goal. Be sure to check the bulletin each month, consult with experts as needed, and be ready to act when your priority date becomes current. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the U.S. Immigration News Channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.